And you also talk about forming the right habits to help you with the hustle.
Yes.
Talk about what some of those habits are.
Sure. So this is the third part of the book, and the notion that that we were looking into is not necessarily this like habit formation, which has been sort of covered ad nauseum in so many great books out there, and instead, it is looking at how we as people who hustle, right, unconventionally often, and in this weird, uncertain, and dynamic economy, what we want to do is to look at ways of betting on ourselves. That's at the core of this idea of the habits that we express. And to do that, we talk about this model called the Personal Opportunity Portfolio, POP. POP, the idea came from looking at the stock market and noticing fluctuations in prices and doing interviews with friends of mine who work on the street and traders at night and so forth. And so the question was, how do companies rapidly rise in value? What drives that? Can we make a statement about that? And can we also apply it to individuals or to companies that maybe aren't on the market? Well, the answer is you can. But again, it's a new way of seeing ways to create value for yourself, right, or your company. And so we broke it down into sort of 4 components. So personal opportunity portfolio, a way of making a lot of small bets on yourself or your company, and looking at 4 components. The first P is around potential, right? And potential is about the opportunity of capability, all right? So you want to drive your team into an area where they can do learning and discovery and hone certain skill sets, what we call ESP is one of them. And then moving from that layer into the next one, which is people. So you've gone from this potential layer, which really is the foundation of the POP, into people. People is the opportunity of community, right? What is a company but a community of like-minded folks working hopefully toward the same mission and goal, right? The opportunity of community. So there's all sorts of interesting collaboration and activities that can happen there when framed positively in a place of not zero-sum, but instead people helping people advance and achieve and so forth. It's reciprocal, right? Mutual benefit. The third layer of POP is what we call the project layer. The project layer is fun because it is the opportunity of creativity, right? We talked about the project economy and how you see careers as sort of the stacking vertically and horizontally of different projects you take on. The project layer is a way for you to advance, to continue filling the potential layer and the people layer, because you're going to be exposed to new things and to new people. And so it feeds you and it allows you to then further your effort and arrive at the most important of the P's, which is proof. And proof is the opportunity of credibility. We all want to be recognized for our contribution in the world, right? Whether it is to a company, whether it is to an artistic project or a legacy of some sort or nonprofit, whatever it might be. But proof ultimately is a 3-dimensional way of seeing how you've contributed in the world, right? So in us doing this interview, what does it do? Hopefully for both of us, it gives us this sense of undeniable, easily accessible proof that now hopefully helps other people in some way, or other companies to develop more value perhaps, or new ways of thinking. And so it's a way to reflect your contributions in the world.
This last part is very important to the proof aspect of things, right?
Yes.
It's beyond just the resume, right?
Right. So from our standpoint, the resume is essentially a vestige, or it's kind of an antiquated dinosaur, if you will. And that's based on a lot of research we did. And it's not that we want to be dismissive of people choosing to submit resumes. That's fine. That's the conventional path. What we found is that there are better ways to draw recognition and help yourself to sort of ascend from this massive crowd and stand out in a meaningful way. And that is by making contributions that you can point to, or that will drive people toward you. It's what we call as sort of a honeypot. You don't want to be the bee buzzing around with your resume. Instead, you want to be the flower, the honeypot that attracts people to you. And so given the access and the low cost of technology today, there are so many ways you can do that to stand out. The other issue with the resume is that, especially for the highly competitive positions that you're applying for, 95% of applicants, some of the research suggested, are dismissed. Not because they're any less qualified than anyone else, but that recruiters are so overwhelmed by the talent pool, which is immense, that maybe only 5% of resumes might actually hit their computer screen, right, or their desk. And even in that small percentage, very few are going to get more than a few second look meaningfully. So what does that mean? That means that it requires doing some unconventional things to help bring awareness about your POP, your capabilities, ways that you could contribute, and hopefully people will discover you.